We're back at the cabin today. Still no snow, but there's still lots to do inside. The plan for today is that we're going to work on the cold air intake. We did some work on this before, but there's a couple efficiencies we can make to make it really work well. Because even though the weather's warm now, we still have cold weather for January, February, and March, maybe a little bit of April, and hopefully a lot more snow. So getting this stuff fixed up, it's going to be really important to get right. So we're spending some time on it, making sure that these things work. It's starting to rain, as you can probably hear, and I'd love to get a little fire going here for the rest of the day to warm this place up a little bit. So let's get into this one. When we left this project last, we installed a bigger PVC cold air intake, and that's since dried. It's really sturdy, actually way sturdier than I thought it was going to be. So that's really cool. And I've been thinking a little about this, and I've been trying to figure out the best way to get the cold air as close to the fire as possible. We noticed last time that even with the cold air intake pipe installed, it was still drawing cold air from across the room. So I was thinking a little bit, doing some research, and I want to try to figure out a way to get the cold air directly into the fire, or as close to the fire as possible. So here's what I'm thinking. If you open up the door on this stove, it has a tray right here that you can take out. This is to help clean the ashes out, and just helps with shoveling and scooping and things. But my thought is that if I clean out a spot here, maybe toward the front, and drill a hole right there, what I could do is I could take a 90 of about the same size as a PVC, like this, put it right up here underneath, and get it in there somehow, lodge it or screw it or something, and then connect this to the cold air intake with a hose like this, sort of expandable foil pipe. Then I put the cover back on, this one here. This has an open inlet right here that the air could come right up out from underneath here, straight back. So that's what I'm going to try to do today. This is cast iron, so I got a hole saw that can do cast iron. I'm going to try to drill that out and put that fitting in. If I can make that work, then I think I have what I need to make the connections up today, at least temporarily. And then we'll get a little fire going in here and see. One thing that I'm going to need to do to make this work how I need it to, and really the safest way possible, is to add some sort of damper on this side. If you just leave it open full time with a big fire, it can really get away from you. You only have the flue damper to slow it down. And I'd like to be able to turn it down on the intake side just for safety purposes. So I'm not going to get a big fire going today, but I want to get this set up, see how it draws, and if it burns wood a little bit better, then I'll be happy. Then for the damper side, I'm considering maybe a valve or something on the PVC. Maybe I'll make a little damper. Now this is just cold air coming in, so it doesn't need to be 100% perfectly sealed, but you need to have some way to restrict that flow. So that's the next step of this project. One thing I really do need out here is an ash bucket. So remind me to get one. So I'll take this out, push some of these ashes back, kind of picking like right here. And then I'll drill that out right there. There we go. Look at that. Perfect. So my hope is that this slides right up in. Look at that. And it does. So I think what I'll do is I'll take my tin snips. I'll just cut a couple quick tabs here. Maybe 3. And when I stick it up through, I'll bend those tabs down so it can't come back out. Cutting those tabs allowed me to bend over pretty much the whole thing. So now that's not coming out. That's really great. I think it'll just slide right over. And then I'm going to do like a zip tie or something like that to keep it in place. Remember, this is pulling in cold air, so it should keep everything in this system nice and cool. So I'll get this finished up and then we can give it a test. I just use a little bit of temporary tape on there, and there's a close-up of this side. Comes up right in here and right into the firebox. So I'll put this back in. I'll scoop out some of those ashes to make room, and then I'll get a little fire going here to see how it pulls. Once this gets pulling a little bit, I'll close the door, and we should be able to hear and reach in and feel that cold air being pulled up through that intake. Now that I got the fire really going in here, you can tell that it's drawing really nicely. If I put my hand down here and feel just that, all that cold air coming in, yeah, seems like it's really working well. I think for right now, I'll call that a success. I need a really cold night to see if the air is still drawing from across the room. And it's really not that cold out right now. It's only about 40, 45. So I think the next cold night that we're out here, it'll be a really good test for this to see. If this is still a problem, I could always try the fans on top of the stove, those stove fans. They also sell heat reclaimers, like in-flue systems that help get some of the heat out of the flue pipe and into the structure. So there's other options, but I think for right now, this seems to be working really well. So I want to test this on a cold night to see if it's effective or not before I move on. But I'm really happy with this setup and how easy it went together. So waiting for that cold night, and we'll give it a good test.